A huge warm welcome to the art vlog, art lovers, with me, George Dopamine. Today is all about that dynamic artistic pair, Gilbert and George. They've been a presence on the London art scene since the late 1960s, when they launched themselves with their singing sculpture. And they base themselves in the Spitalfields area of the East End for their whole creative careers. It's fair to say that Gilbert and George split opinion. I love their concepts and some of their work. They seem to be very generous. They've always managed, even into their 80s, to maintain an anti-establishment vibe. And they've actually opened a new centre very much on their home turf, just out off Brick Lane, to display their works. They feel that modern galleries are now too woke to consider showing their works, and as I said, they've always chafed against the establishment. Long gone are the days when they had a massive retrospective at Tate Modern in 2007, which was pretty widely praised. Today they complain that Tate holds over 20 of their pieces of work and yet doesn't show any of it. So they've basically set up the Gilbert and George Centre here just off Brick Lane as a permanent place to store, archive and display their extensive range of work. I'm really excited to come and see this new space, which is free. It currently has very limited opening hours to the general public, but it will expand those, it's said, as time progresses. There's also, I'm going to take you to White Cube Mason's Yard over in a very different London to explore some new paintings by Gilbert and George, the corpsing pictures, which are being displayed there. So come and join me as we head inside the Gilbert and George Centre here in Spitalfields, East London.
You tell me, I'll reply you.
So just opposite Royal Academy at Duke Street, St James's, we are going to now see the second little taste of Gilbert and George at the White Cube here in Mason's Yard. Hopefully you can see that pub. We'll speed up. We've obviously hot-footed it from Spitalfields to the east in the city, just to the east of the City of London, across now to the heart of St James's, the heart of the West, and to come here. What I love about White Cube Mason's Yard is that you have to sneak down this little passageway here at the Chequers, which in the evenings is very busy after work, but you can see at lunchtime is not. Then you sort of, in the middle of Mason's Yard, you see this concrete building. Some people would say it's a concrete monstrosity, which is White Cube Mason's Yard. So let's head in and see the second bit of the Gilbert and George exhibition. Very much hope you enjoyed that immersion into the world of Gilbert and George. I'm very aware that they're a very much a Marmite artist, in the sense that some people really like them and are big fans, and other people don't like them aesthetically. So let me know in the comments which you are. I think whatever, the Gilbert and George Centre is a really welcome addition to the London art scene. It's a very generous bequest in some ways. It's free, obviously it's there to display their works, so it's not totally benevolent, but I thought the way it combined the traditional use of the building, the brewery with the beams in that top gallery, and the lovely exquisite courtyard, with the combine that with the big spaces and the big walls needed to display Gilbert and George's work, worked incredibly well. And out of the two shows, I think aesthetically I much preferred the paradisical pictures. Sorry, I can never pronounce that. I thought the colour, I mean, Gilbert and George are often about colour, as well as some of their other motifs like the blow up, the zooming in. I really like the pastoral quality of some of these pictures, the natural quality, if you like, and really got a lot from that show. I was a bit less enamoured aesthetically with the corpsing pictures, but some of you might disagree. Although I did like the concept behind them and the idea of the artist reflecting on their own mortality, and also the play on the meaning of the word corpsing, because we learnt in the at the gallery there that corpsing can also mean when an actor loses their lines and sort of slips into their real selves, breaking the spell of being on stage. And I thought that was obviously a really interesting potential metaphor for Gilbert and George stepping out of their artistic personas as they get into their 80s. So overall, obviously it's a little bit of a Gilbert and George moment, but I think what's really interesting is that Gilbert and George have forced this moment themselves by setting up their own centre, and it must have taken an incredible amount of work to set up. And also then the show at White Cube Mason's Yard coming from that, they've obviously put themselves back at the centre of the London art scene. So yeah, I did enjoy it. I'm really looking forward to seeing what the Gilbert and George Centre do in terms of, will they be displaying some of the classic series that Gilbert and George have been known for over the years. We will see. Yeah, so it was really, really interesting. Lovely to see a new exhibition space for our times here in London, and in such a fantastic area, rich with recent artistic history as well. Don't forget to subscribe to the art vlog. Hit that notification bell for sneak peeks into lots of shows from London, the South East and beyond. And most importantly of all, don't forget to explore the wonderful UK art scene.